WhyThe. The scent of enlightenment. A gentle reminder that air, water, and fire indeed are life-giving essences. Appreciate the intersection of time and luxury. Magnify your essence. WhyThe.
Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes, and we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everybody. I'm Preacher Miles, host of the SOS, the Shout Out Show. You are in the correct place. No, you are not in the wrong place. You are looking at a very good-looking black man. That's number one. Number two, this is Saturday, man, and I know we normally have our Spotlight Saturdays. I'm actually going to take the time because I want to line up a series of people talking about a certain amount of topics, if you will. I want to accrue knowledge of some of these people that we bring on, and I want to make sure that it's beneficial to all of us. Because I have my favorites of people I want to bring on, but I want to actually introduce concepts, introduce subject matter that's helpful to everybody, not just my personal preference. So, number one, if you're coming on the Shout Out Show for the first time, we appreciate you. Don't make it an isolated incident. Come back often. Bring your friends, bring your enemies, because the Shout Out Show is your platform. Everyone that you're going to see today gets a shout out. My regulars who are in the comment section, they always get shout outs without fail. And if I miss anybody on the shout out, forgive me. That's not anybody's fault but mine. Now try and do better. The other thing I want everybody to remember is this. When you come, feel like you can contribute. Don't just come and look and gawk. Put something in the comment section, because we talk about a range of issues, a range of ideas, and it's an open forum, if you will. I do a lot of the talking, granted. But I do take conversation, I take to comments, and I do look to my audience to share their ideas, because I don't know everything. I know very little. When I put out my ideas, it's just my ideas. So I also want to welcome my Shout Out Show regulars, who I will run down here in a minute. When I say a Shout Out Show regular, it means a couple things. Number one, not that you support the show when you come on, but you support the show when you're not here. And when I say support the show, I mean, Sister Ree is the craft services person. Hey, what's up, Ree? Hope grandma's doing better. Auntie's doing better. But I mean, just people who just wish goodwill. Because what was interesting is that people have heard about Shout Out Show, and we haven't advertised. We haven't done a big opening, if you will. You heard me talk about the meager beginnings that we started. But here we are on a Saturday in the afternoon when people have a million things to do, and here people right here. So let me welcome my Shout Out Show regulars. I appreciate you, family. I appreciate you, soldiers. Start right up top with Ree. Ree, are you back in town yet? Is Derek here, or he's with you in Michigan? Because Corey's in town. Corey's in town. Oh, and I want to give a big shout out to Corey Holcomb. I want to give a big shout out to Brother Dave Chappelle and Muhammad Amr hosted me last night. Let me hang out. Let the old dude hang out. I appreciate you young bucks. And may Allah continue to bless all of you. Corey, Muhammad Amr, and Dave. And more importantly, too, please make dua for Corey Holcomb, a very funny comedian who was struck with COVID. And so he's on the comeback trail. He's doing a lot better now. I didn't know. We just talked today. But, we have to make sure that we stay in touch with people. And the show does not happen without Sister Sultana Whitfield, our consultant producer, who does more than just a little. Sultana, I will have to talk to you about some of the guests and I have a couple of surprises for you. But she makes everything work out. Just, she's a very diligent sister and just makes this thing work out. And as the show builds and you see it be successful, you know what? Don't look at me. Look at her. She make sure this thing goes. Sister Ika always with a good word and good dua, all the way from Indonesia. She's up early right after Fajr trying to catch the show. And my main man, Altaf Rashid, all the way from Toronto. Altaf, is it true that they're shutting down Toronto on Monday? Has COVID got to that point, or the fear or the threat of COVID got to that point now? Because they're also talking about the Raptors, if you will. The Raptors will not be playing in Toronto this year. I think they're going to have to play somewhere down south, but they're not going to be able to play NBA basketball in Toronto this year. It's a very interesting thing. I'm thinking, a year, basically a year removed from winning the championship, they can't even play in Toronto. So there's something to think about. But it also gives you a feeling. For some people, it's a feeling. Some people, it's awareness. Some people, it's a weight in terms of what's going on in the world. And I chose today's topic because last night, as I watched Brother Chappelle do his set, something hit me when I was sitting there. And this is what hit me, brothers and sisters. And it was a simple thought. It's like, spotlight today is why the truth matters. I'm literally trying to put the spotlight on truth. Because it seems like today, or too often, if you will, I won't say today, but too often, people have really worked to put truth in the dark, to put clarity in the dark, to put open-mindedness, a clear understanding in the dark. I'm not even talking about Trump and everything that he's trying to do to basically stage a coup. If you guys want to know what this is a poor white man's coup, okay? And the poor white man's coup has to deal with they won't face the facts of an election that happened where they're not in power. And I'm going to be honest with you. I look at greedy oppressors upset with other greedy oppressors willing to kill, willing to cheat, willing to maul each other. And I watch these two things in my heart. You know what happens? I go, alhamdulillah. Because they're the ones who have to kill each other off, and the righteous people will come back. It's in the Quran. Trust me. I've been reading this thing. But my point is, why do we even have to say that the truth matters? And now I'm going to break this down. When I was younger, the truth and character went hand in hand. You see what I'm saying? The truth and character went hand in hand. And what I meant was a person's character was assessed by the ability to tell the truth, and when the truth benefited them and the truth didn't benefit them, when it was good and it was bad. All of us have told a lie in our lives. Pretty much all of us. I've told some whoppers. We've all told some whoppers. As comedians, it's funny. People don't even understand. When I was a comedian, we could just make up a joke about anything. Before I was Muslim, we make up a joke about anything. We could lie, and then, we'd come up with these things that weren't true as long as it was funny. And when I became Muslim and really got into understanding my religion, particularly with Allah Made Me Funny, the tour, one of the things that was said to me was it was permissible to, make jokes, but not excessively. But it was permissible to make jokes. They said, but the caveat was you cannot mislead the people. When they said mislead the people, it was really like you can't lie to the people. There's certain innuendo you can make, metaphors, where the crowd can use their logic and go, I know he doesn't mean that. It's just funny. That can't happen. You speak in the absurdities, and that's okay. But when you blur the line of something that could be true or cannot be true, there were consequences. There was a responsibility and accountability for the things that you said. The truth matters for a lot of people. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm saying the truth matters because the truth leaves a legacy. The truth leaves a legacy. The truth aspires to bring people to a certain understanding, a certain landing, whereby they can all look and say, hey, listen, that's the reality of that situation. Like I said, all of us have told a lie. I remember when I was a kid. Many of you will remember the first time you actually told a lie. When I say told a lie, it's not like a kid telling a big old lie, like, you're a little kid. Oh, I got a big tree, and there's no tree there. That's imagination. But when you told a lie, you deliberately looked to either escape a result or get a result. You lie because you're trying to escape a result or you're trying to get a particular result. You're trying to avoid something, you're trying to get something. And that's what it means. But I remember the feeling, brothers and sisters, when you told that lie. Because the biggest mercy Allah can give you when you tell a lie is that people find out about it right away. It's like a virus or cold. If you can contain the cold or reduce the cold right then there's no collateral damage. And the truth matters to me, and maybe a lot of you, because there's just so much collateral damage for when people put out falsehoods. When people will look at the truth and gaslight it and say, don't look at that. Don't believe that. This is what I need you to look at. That is even below the scope of shaitan. I'll give shaitan credit. Shaitan might practice in falsehoods, but he only practices in falsehoods because he knows the truth. He has permission to practice in falsehoods. That's the truth. He doesn't run around this earth solo. He doesn't run around as he's off the plantation. He's rogue. He has permissibility and a function in the world, as does the truth. And a falsehood from Shaitan is a falsehood because there's been an agreement between him and God. When you lie, the empty feeling is, who is your agreement with? Think about this. If you're a religious person, you can't lie to God. And the people who are closest to God, your mother, your father, that's why it hurts so much. That's why it bothers you. And in current times, it's really interesting to see people tell a lie and have absolutely no physical or emotional response. And I'm not even saying for themselves, for other people. They tell lies that hurt other people. And the reason why I also say the truth matters is because we're all examples. We're all examples. If you ever have time, look at a situation, a scenario, brothers and sisters. Look at a situation, a scenario that's been redefined or redescribed over a number of years. It might be jazz. It might be politics. I'm like many of you, I really dig history. So the scope of looking at history is that I want to see how people interpreted the truth. If you look at slavery and Jim Crow and things like that, there were two alternate worlds, if you will. There were two alternate worlds. There was black life, and then there was white life. Black life and white life. Now here's the interesting thing. White life, in many regards, didn't have the esoteric understanding of reality. A full reality is that everything that everybody could see, feel, and agree upon. This is our reality. For African Americans and Latinos, and even Muslims at this point in time, in life, and even religious people, Christians, Jews, you somehow have to look at the truth of what you believe in and the truth of what you're seeing. And the truth of what you're seeing is interesting because people, this is a term they say, people have turned a blind eye because they don't even want to look at the truth. That's what a blind eye means. You turn a blind eye to the truth means that reality that's in front of you is so strong that you have to create your own vision of what reality looks like. Case in point, and I said this yesterday, people think that Donald Trump won't give a concession because he really believes that he won the election. No. He won't give a concession speech, and you're going to have a hell of a time getting him out of power because he believes, even more than God, that he is that kind of righteous individual, that he is without faults, he is without trials, he is without question. And that fault, the question, the trials, that's, brothers and sisters, what you get when you don't understand the truth. The truth is that man is in public housing. We pay for it. We've always paid for it. And now we have somebody that not only didn't want to pay the rent, but believes somehow he should not only be evicted, he shouldn't be evicted, but we should continue to paying his rent. And move even further. That space, brothers and sisters, and this is a deep thing. This is a real deep thing. Back in the day, when you could not formulate, appreciate, and integrate the truth to whatever thing, people used to call you, what's the word? Crazy. Crazy. When you developed your own truth back in the day, you were crazy. When I was growing up in Washington, D.C., the mental asylum was called St. Elizabeth's. We used to call it St. Ede's. And when your balance, your reality got out of balance, we ain't talking about a whole lot of drugs back then and heroin. We're talking about just the mental capacity would blow out of people and they would wind up in St. Ede's. Interesting thing about St. Ede's to reduce, and I digress. One of the things about St. Ede's that people don't remember in the heart of Washington, D.C. was the Republicans decided to cut funding to St. Ede's. In the way they decided to cut funding, they decided to release the patients at St. Ede's, which unceremoniously led to the homeless problem that you see now. Did you see what I just did there? I gave you a little bit of truth. I gave you a little bit of truth. And that little bit of truth begins to explain what you see in a bigger picture. I'm only doing that because, you know what? People have done it for me. People have laid out in a very visual way the truth. You know, the best quote I ever heard about the truth is this. The truth is something you never have to remember. Dig that. The truth is something you never have to remember. And it's interesting because I have friends, good friends, character guys. When we tell stories about childhood, early teens, you know what never deviates? The story. We could pick it up from you did this, you did that, you did this, because it's all the truth. Your religious text, if you will, this is interesting. Your religious text may have different interpretation, but it's just in different interpretations of the truth. It's not different interpretations or questioning of the truth, just different interpretations of the truth. Let me put this in here for Sister Sultana. The danger is that there is nearly 50% of the country that believe Trump. Yes, this is true. But even more so is that people, for lack of a better word, are afraid of the truth. I said this before. I'm trying to remember. It may have been Mama Kasmakman. May Allah be pleased with him. But we were sitting at a restaurant in Houston having one of our discussions. And you know how he talk. Preacher. And he said, man, do you know how lucky we are to have a religion and a framework to go to when the truth is not enough? He said, do you realize how lucky you are? And that is something, and I'm going to bring in Ahmed Shahid right here. Surah 21, Ayat 18. We hurl the truth against falsehood and knocks out his brains, and behold, falsehood perish. Lots of zombies in DC right now. But how big are the rots, Ahmed? How big are the rots? Because you can hurl it and knock their brains out, and these people won't even believe that they died. These people would deny the rots. It was a paperclip. These people, if you say the sun came up yesterday, they'll go, no, it didn't. And if you show it to them, they goes, that's not really the sun. And their reason. You know, the absence of the truth is what's called skewed logic. And that skewed logic is where we are now. The truth matters because in the absence of truth, in the absence of chaos, is this thing that is us. It is a right or wrong answer. It is the higher level. You know, the higher level. I remember my cousin when we were younger. We were down in Danville, Virginia. And we were doing some stuff we shouldn't have been doing. I'm gonna be honest. There was a girl across the street, and at our age, at 11, she was like Lola Falana, Beyonce, she was all of that. And somehow we got an idea that we're gonna peek in her house. So we got the room wrong. It wasn't her house. I mean, it wasn't her room we peeked into. It was a grandmother's house. And boy, she came out of our house, and we got lined up by my uncle. And that lady told what we did. Now, my uncle didn't like the lady too much. He said, well, is this what happened? Oh, we could have done it. We could have just lied. We could have not told the truth. We were halfway home, brothers and sisters. If we said that wasn't us, it was somebody else, we'd have gotten off. And as me and my cousin were hitting each other's legs because we getting ready to tell a lie like you never heard before, we looked at our younger cousin who was with us. And the younger cousin said, yes, it was us. We did it. And I was like, I hate you. No. And taken from the younger one's lead, we said it was us. It was me, it was him, and it was the little one. Now, my uncle said, I'm finna tear everybody butt up. The ones but he didn't tear up, was the younger cousin. And the reason he didn't do it, he said, you guys are young boys, but I was looking for you to be young men. In this situation, he said, I was looking for you to be young men. And he said, had you told me the truth, I wouldn't be giving you the whooping you're about to get right now, which is going to be a doozy. He said, I would have found extra chores for you. I would have had you cut that woman's yard. I would have had you do something that restored your character in that woman's eyes. He said, but right now, you just going to take this whooping. And boy, it was a doozy. You remember them old Southern whoopings during the summer? because everybody had screens. The screen, and you knew who was gonna get a whooping because it was the talk of the town. So me and my cousin Earl gonna get a whooping, and my uncle left that way. Boy, we hollered to Jesus heard it. Jesus was like, "Ooh, y'all getting tore up." Ooh, y'all getting tore up. Whole neighborhood heard. And the interesting thing was, after the swelling went down, we still had to go over and to apologize to that woman. And you know what she said? She said, if you'd have told me the truth, I would have made sure you ain't get a whooping. And at that point, I wanted to kick her. I'm like, why don't you just tip me off, lady? If you told me the truth, we could have worked this out. But it's interesting. And anybody could jump in here. Anybody could jump in here. And I'm going to say why you could jump in. We're not raising our children with the value of the truth. We tell them tell the truth. We don't tell them the value. We don't let them know that telling the truth now can save your life, can save your career, can give us a space, if you will, a parameter, an example for people that come behind you. Because everything, think about acting. What is acting? People get awards for acting. You know what it is? You act like somebody else. That ain't the truth. We make up, brothers and sisters, large studios and sets to make it look like 1850s Wild West. And folks go, wow. And they look at the whole movie. And somewhere along the line, they suspend the truth. And the people who get the big acting awards, you know why we do that? Because those are the people whose jobs have been so amazing that we forget that it's a picture, it's imaginary, it's not real. Everybody's tuning in. What y'all get with everybody? That's the next question. What y'all get with everybody? I'm gonna tell y'all the worst one right here. The worst whooping you could ever get is if the person whooping you is a smoker. Because smokers ain't got good air, they got emphysema, and they always got to take a break. That's the thing. They whooping you and they be like, hold on, just sit over there. Oh boy, this whooping you is a whole lot, man. Huh? Don't move. I got more for you. All right. Come on back over here. That's the worst whooping. And the other whooping is the spiritual whooping. When your mama, I know my mama was good for this. My mom would tell you all the options you had before you got to this point in time. All the options. She would go down and tell you all the truths that you missed along the way. Because when you lie and you don't fix it, you know you have to tell a lie to cover up that lie, and a lie to cover up that lie, and a lie to cover up that lie. And it's like a lie tree, right? If you don't grab that top branch, you're going to hit every lie limb on the way down to the ground. And I think it's interesting now, because even though Trump is the president in residence, it's interesting, man, to understand. I've been calling it a lot of zombies walking around, but do you know the concept of a zombie? Like, do you know the concept of a zombie? The crux of being a zombie is you can't trust the reality around you. You're oblivious to it. You're oblivious to the truth. A zombie has a core value that's not inclusive of the truth. It's inclusive of need, it's inclusive of sustenance, if you will, but it does not deal in the realm of truth. So I'm gonna wrap up here because I think it's a pretty good show. I actually kind of like this. Let's see, bolo bat. Wow, bolo bat. Yeah, paddle with the ball and shit. Yeah, I never got one of those. I got a Hot Wheel track. I got the Hot Wheel track, and after that, I went over to my friend's house and I tore up all his Hot Wheel track. I was like, this will never whoop another kid again. But let me wrap up about why the truth matters. And this is not on a religious note. Everybody who's believers in here, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, you know why you tell the truth. You know why it matters. I'm not necessarily speaking to you, but I'm talking to you in a way where I need everyone to remind other people that the truth matters. That character is not something you buy, character is something you build. You know, these positions, president and imam, and think those are relationship positions. And that relationship is built upon what? A trust. And that trust is undergirded by what? The truth. The truth of who you are in each and every situation that you're going to look through. Even when it doesn't go your way, you tell the truth. You know. So I kind of am reaching out to folks because I'm worried. I'm legitimately worried. You know, I always say what happens when people don't believe in the truth. Oh, this is my cousin right here. Do you ever get my note about this candle, Don? Call me, brother. Satana, can you put my number up for my cousin, please? Because I got to get this candle from him. Or put up the email address. Because I asked him, does this candle go to you or does this candle go to the company? Donald Foster. This is my cousin, everybody. We're selling some business here. Can you tell me which one? Does the candle go to you? The profits go to you, or does it go to the company? You need to express that and tell me that. All right. So, dead to the living world only exists in the feed that base desires. Well, that's what happens when you don't have the truth. Great analogy here, Ahmed. You just exist in the feeding your base desires. So there's no intellect. There's no examination of reality, or no. I want to say there's no integration of reality if all you're going to do is feed your base desires. So listen, let me hear. Give my number and call me so I can get you this candle. I'm going to buy 2. You have any Georgetown candles? I like those. You have family on. It happens. But listen, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for Saturday Spotlight. Next week, we will have a really good guest. Somebody I'm really been kind of hawking come on the show. And we're going to talk about some issues. I know we had a great show last time with sister. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I'm getting old. But she came on and she was with the COVID strategy team, if you were COVID prevention team. Sister Abdullah. So we're going to make sure. Hey, Lil Don, there's my number. Call me. You better call me too, because I got to work at 6. Call me. He's probably not even looking, brothers and sisters. So you guys have been great. That's right. Sister Khadijah Abdullah. You know, we're going to have on some more guests like that. We're going to have some themes on. So what I would like for you guys to do, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, inshallah, is I'm going to ask everybody, start thinking about the themes that you want to see. The show is going into a revamp, coming out of going into 2021. I'm very happy to do that. A little studio. We're going to upgrade some things. So it looks more like a program that you'd be proud of. Something I want to be proud of, but that you would actually be proud of. And so for that, I need your help. I need your suggestions. So make sure you get that done. So Lil Don, call me. Everybody else, have an amazing day. And thank you again for tuning in. And think about that. Maybe you need to have that conversation with people. Just remind them, you know, that the truth matters. All right, everybody. Have an amazing day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Talk to you soon.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next show, the next Shout Out Show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarifa Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out tarifatar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.